Welcome to Traveling While Black.
Hey, what's up? I'm Anthony, this is my wife Marley, and welcome to another episode of Traveling While Black.
Yes, welcome back everyone. As a brief reminder, our show is based on our experiences traveling, and we base those experiences off of how good of a drive it was, how much fun we had, and most importantly, how comfortable do we feel as Black people visiting for the first time.
Welcome to the third episode of our 2023 Black History series. For this episode, we are once again covering a local Washington State town connection to Black history, except we are covering a whole event as opposed to just one individual.
Yes, and that city is the city of Roslyn, Washington, which has a connection to Black coal miners, which grew the population of the city overall and Washington State's Black population as well.
Yep, and once again, for this episode, we won't have a level of fun or comfortability for Black people grade because we are focused on Black history. But we will have a drive grade, of course, if anyone is interested in taking the drive for themselves.
Yes, and we would like to thank Stephanie Johnson Toliver and Ryan Donaldson for their help in creating this episode.
Yep, and if you're interested in finding out more about Roslyn, please check our description for links on resources for more information.
Yeah, so as always, take a look at the episode and let us know what you think.
In 1886, the town of Roslyn, Washington was founded shortly after the discovery of coal. The opening of the mining operation attracted miners from the eastern United States and even as far as Europe, which led to the population growing to over 1,000 within just a couple of years.
By 1888, the mine workers had become dissatisfied with the unsafe working conditions and wages they were being paid. As a result, the workers decided to strike. In response, the Northern Pacific Coal Company, the company responsible for mining operations, concocted a plan.
The company's plan was to recruit Black miners from eastern and southern states to come back and work the mines. And for executing that plan, the company turned to a Black man, James E.
Shepperson, and the plan was relatively successful overall, as approximately 300 miners total arrived between 1888 and 1889, resulting in the single largest increase of Black population in the history of the state.
Although the plan was successful, the problem was that most, if not all, of the Black miners had no idea that they were breaking up a strike. So many were surprised when they were met with resentment and even threats of violence from the striking white workers.
Eventually, after the strike had been broken, the white miners returned to work alongside the Black miners. The two groups would continue to work together thanks in part to the booming coal industry, making for less competition for jobs, as well as a natural bond from facing the dangers of coal mining together.
The booming coal industry did not only result in a functional working relationship between Black and white miners, but also a town that was made up of a multi-ethnic population that grew to as many as 4,000 people at its height. And Black families have for a long time been major contributors to the town.
Even after the last coal mine in the area closed in 1963, Black residents continued to contribute to the town. One of the latest contributions was that of William Craven, who was elected mayor of Roslyn, which in turn made him the first Black mayor in the history of the state of Washington.
The state's first Black mayor isn't the only major contribution to the state history stemming from the original group of Black miners. See, after the coal industry slowed down, a lot of Black residents migrated to other parts of the state looking for work. So chances are, Black Washingtonians whose roots have been in the state for a couple of generations could quite possibly be descendants from that group of original miners that migrated to Roslyn.
For this Black History episode, we took a trip to Roslyn to see how one can experience the Black coal miner history within the town today. Drive grade. It was an hour and 15 minutes drive to get to Roslyn, heading straight eastbound on I-90. It is basically the same route we took to Clay Ellum a couple episodes back.
For our experience this time, it was the same route but totally different drive. Biggest difference was the weather. It was a lot better this time.
The best difference was definitely the views. Going through the pass is the best on days where the sun is shining.
Yep, the views were amazing. So the hour went by fast, the town was easy to find, and like we said, we could score high on the views alone. So for this drive, we will give a 5 out of 5 for drive grade.
Level of fun. When entering Roslyn, it's easy to notice that it is a town that's still connected to its past. A lot of the buildings of the town appear to be in the original structure from around the early era of the town.
buildings like the Northwest Improvement Company Coal Company Store, which is the original structure that was operated by the same company that owned the coal mines. And even though the building houses a variety of businesses, visitors can still appreciate some of the original mining artifacts that are still within the building. For example, inside Heritage Distilling, you can ask to see the original scale used to weigh the coal brought in from the mines.
Another obvious place for visitors to learn more and interact with historical mining artifacts is the Roslyn Historical Museum, which has a great collection of artifacts outside the building. We will say that it is a good idea to reach out beforehand to be sure they are open if visiting outside of the summer time.
Yep, it was easy to see that the town commemorated the mining culture in general. But most important for us was where one can experience artifacts to commemorate Black individuals and their imprint on the town.
The first location that stands out would be the Coal Mine Trail, specifically Mine Number 3, which is where the largest concentration of Black miners worked. The trail actually runs from Clay Elum to Roslyn and ends in Ronald, and it is in Ronald where the location Mine Number 3 is.
The town did have an artifact commemorating a more recent important Black resident that was related to one of the original mining families. In front of the Northwest Improvement Company Coal Company building is a plaque dedicated to the former mayor of Roslyn and the state's first Black mayor, William Craven. The plaque actually contains the official proclamation of William Craven Day, which is celebrated February 20th.
Finally, one looking for Black history within the town would absolutely have to take a trip to the Roslyn Cemetery and see the section reserved for Black residents. See, the cemetery is unique in that plots are segregated by ethnicity, but looking at the Black section known as Mount Olivette, it is easy to see that there is some work still to be done as some of the plots are missing headstones.
Even though we aren't doing a level of fun grade, we can say that we absolutely enjoyed walking around Roslyn and learning about its rich Black history related to its mining culture. So we can definitely recommend anyone else interested in learning more to take a trip. But again, as for level fun this episode, we're going to give an NA. Comfortability for Black people. Just like the level of fun for this episode, we will not be giving a comfort level for Black people since we are focusing on Black history. But we do want to make y'all aware of some efforts and some events that may increase the chances of a higher comfort rating if you so choose to visit.
The biggest event to note is that every year descendants and other local residents come together and celebrate the history via an annual Black Pioneers Picnic, which usually takes place in August. So around that time may be a good time to visit. Check Roslyn's event calendar for this year's exact date.
We also want to know ongoing efforts to improve and upkeep artifacts connected to the Black miners. For example, one effort in the works that will focus on enhancing and updating interpretive signage related to the coal mines trail. Then another effort to address the Mount Olivette grave sites without headstones. In the future, we will try to share updates on these efforts and any others in relation to maintaining the Black history of the town.
Again, due to our focus on Black history, for this episode we will give it NA on comfortability for Black people rating.
We hope you found this video helpful and entertaining. Be sure to check out all of our previous episodes.
Yes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our page on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out our merchandise on travelwhileblackseattle.com. And reach out if there's anywhere you would like us to go check out.
Until next time, beautiful people, stay up, stay true, and do you.